Okay, so we are looking at our 7.3 notes, right? We did examples 1 through 5 on Friday. So we're gonna do the last two examples today. And they're set up more like the open-ended questions or like the constructor responses in yes, for the keystones. So we're going to solve this and graph it on the number line. So let's start by solving that. I'm just going to kind of do my work off to the side. Um, if you would like to pause and solve it and then check your answer, that's fine. If not, I'm just going to walk through it. So I'm going to subtract 4x. We have 3 is less than 3x minus 9. Add your 9. 12 is less than 3x, divide by 3. X is greater than 4. So we're going to do an open circle greater than 4. Okay, so that's our answer to the first one. If David graphs this inequality, what we're going to skip this bottom part. So we're just solving this inequality. We're going to skip B. Okay. So we're gonna skip B. Now we're gonna go to 7. So Rolando drives at least 40 miles, but less than 60 miles. Okay. So he drives he drives over 40 miles, but less than 60 miles each week. Um, if we drive for 8 weeks when X equals the number of weeks, what's the number of weeks? And we're driving for 8 weeks, all we're going to do is take each of these numbers and multiply by 8, since that's the number of weeks. So 40 times 8 is 320, and 60 times 8 is 480. That means we have a closed circle and an open circle. And they're coming towards each other. Okay, because X has to be greater than 320 and less than 480. So it's got to be somewhere in there. Okay, so explain why we chose those points for your endpoints. So we can just write, we took, your sentence can be whatever you want it to be, but we took the driving requirements for the week. And then we just multiplied by the number of weeks we drove for and found those endpoints. Okay. So yeah, so that kind of makes sense. So we're just explaining that we multiplied that by 8 since it says 8 weeks, and this is what he had. So now we're gonna write an inequality to model all the possibilities. So it's gonna be really similar to what we just did. So here's our requirements. So we start at 240 and we have the highest of 265. Um, so it could be um at least this, but no more than. So it's just this with our X. And X equals the gallons per week. So that's our first kind of inequality. Now we're going to take how many gallons we buy and just multiply it by our endpoints. So we'll do 850 times 240 So we're doing 240 times 850 and 265 times 11. So do that in your calculator. And times 8.5. So that means we spend at least $20.40, but less than $29.15. Okay, is our money. And if you want to explain that, you can, but it says show or explain, so we're not going to. All right, so that's those two. Your homework is to work on number 5, odds only. So do that now. That's just all compound inequalities. Okay. So if you need help, just send me a message, but otherwise, there you go.